I've just seen a headline that in the UK, new car sales have dropped 6% in October. Now, that equates to a massive hole in the automotive industry of about £300 million. Why are people not buying new cars? Well, we did a recent video, and you probably remember it because it was quite a popular one, about keeping an older car, whether you want to keep an older car and what are the benefits of keeping an older car. And the comments in that really resonate with this recent statistic that people aren't buying new cars. So I thought I'd tie these two stories together and extract from your comments on that other video a general consensus that could be affecting the UK's motor industry, and it's probably something affecting other countries as well. So let me know what your experience has been and where you live as well. So there's certainly an enthusiasm for older vehicles, a classic 1990s BMW on the open road, even the trusty old Toyota Land Cruiser from the 1980s that's still going strong, despite being heavily used every day as a workhorse. We've all got in our minds an older car and what it is, and it might be that fantastic appreciating classic. It may just be a trusty workhorse that has never let us down. But these cars aren't just cars. They're stories. They have a history. They're part of the family. If you start talking to the owners, the car is not just something they get in and drive. They've lavished a lot of attention on it, spent a lot of money keeping it in good condition and on the road. So there's a real enthusiasm for older cars. Why? There are actually 5 reasons people cited for not buying new cars in that video that we published. And I will say the comments were biased because the video was only really watched by people that buy older cars. So there was no new car buyers commenting on this. So we've got a very focused pool of responses. Financial considerations was up there. The sheer cost of owning a new car, the depreciation is one of the biggest factors. It puts a lot of people off from getting into that situation. Then people cited environmental considerations. It was generally perceived as more environmentally responsible to keep an older car on the road. Now, I've done another video on that topic itself because that certainly deserves a little bit of exploration and explanation as to why people feel that way. Reliability and longevity were also cited as a reason for people keeping older cars. Surely older cars are less reliable. People are actually becoming suspicious and wary of new cars because they let you down. They're using lower quality components that often fail. Manufacturers have kept the cost as low as possible and have in some cases cut corners, used lower quality parts, and that has affected the overall reliability of cars. The sentimental value is also cited. People form this attachment to their car and they'll only really get rid of that car if it's going to be a major financial millstone around their neck, and they will keep the car and spend lots of money on it, maintaining it and keeping it on the road. And the final reason is DIY maintenance. People feel in general that they can work on an older car themselves, but it's true that many newer cars require specialist tools. There's so many computer systems involved. You can't really look after a modern car without a basic electronic diagnostic tool that you can interface with the car's computer to see what's going on. So with new cars, there's a hidden cost. After 1 year, you are losing 20 to 30% of your money just in depreciation. That is a massive chunk of money that's gone into the pockets of the large corporations that produce these cars. And they're quids in if we repeat the process every few years. Over the next 5 years of car ownership, we see values plummeting by 60%. And considering the cost of some of these new cars is well over 40,000 now, you're seeing a massive drop in the value of the car, a massive loss for the people buying these cars. But they don't think about the money. They're often thinking about the monthly cost, the financing deals. Effectively, you are paying the depreciation of the vehicle in the financing deal. A lot of these deals require a deposit, a monthly payment, and then you don't keep the car at the end. You've kept the manufacturer on parity with the depreciation, and they're retaining ownership of the car at the end of your leasing deal, and you've basically paid just for the depreciation of the car. You've not got an asset at the end of it for your money. It's not like you've taken out a loan for something and you've actually got that thing at the end of it. There's lots of other costs associated with new cars as well. You've got higher insurance premiums because of the increased value. The scarcity of parts for some new models that have just been imported or just been manufactured can lead to higher repair costs, and that leads to higher insurance premiums. Newer cars also having a higher value are more attractive to thieves, so they're more likely to be stolen in a lot of cases. So what are the benefits of sticking with an older car based on your feedback and your comments on the last video? Well, lower maintenance costs. If you look after and service the car, so the key thing is changing the oil regularly, you can reduce the risk of a breakdown or unreliability happening during your ownership of the car. Many older models just need very, very straightforward servicing. They don't require complex recalibration every service. If you look after the car yourself, you'll no doubt be using quality parts. So rather than relying on the local garage that are trying to make as much profit as they can, by choosing quality parts, they'll be more reliable and they will last longer. Generally speaking, there's a few exceptions there. So please check out our videos on our website for more details on the specifics of parts that you can buy for your car, because there's a lot of corners that are cut, a lot of mistakes that people make when they buy parts for their car, when they're just maintaining it and keeping it themselves. Keeping on top of issues, spotting issues before they turn into major problems is another real benefit to maintaining the car's reliability. So an older car is going to need more maintenance, but if you keep on top of that, there is no reason why this car should let you down or start breaking down. It's when you neglect an older car that it starts creating problems and inconvenience for us. So there are certainly a lot of benefits. Financial benefits certainly are one of the biggest considerations for not buying a new car. I'll be curious to know what the situation is like in your area where you live. Some countries, I'll take Cuba as an example, they have a very old car population, or a very big population of old cars, I should say. So there they've become really good at maintaining these older cars, manufacturing parts and upgrades locally that can be used on these simpler older vehicles. And I can see that's where a lot of people are going to be going, even in this country, just to save costs, to cut down on the amount of money going out of your budget each month, just hanging on to the car maybe for another few years and maintaining it and keeping it in good condition. I was also amazed at the amount of older cars that we've got among our readers. So most responded they've owning a car of sort of 10 to 16 years old, about 20%. 30% is in the next bracket of 16 to 20 years old. Then 25% were between 21 and 25 years old. And of the respondents on that video that gave a year for their car, 25% of them were over 25 years old. So it's lovely to see people hanging on to older cars, keeping them running, keeping them in good condition. So let me know how long you plan to keep your car, whether you're going through any special maintenance schedule or you just want your motoring to be as cheap as possible and you're not really doing anything. When the car dies, you'll replace it. So please boot the like button if you found this video useful. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. We'd love you to stay tuned to the great content we've got lined up. And talking about great content, I've lined this video up for you and this playlist that you should find really interesting. Thanks for watching. See you in these next videos.